Hello, my friends. Today's hot tips are a couple of pocket ideas. The first one is a pocket with a flip up for hidden journaling space. And I'm going to use this scrapbooking paper, which is double-sided. It has this grid pattern on one side and then the fancy side on the other. And it comes from this scrapbooking pad, which is from Walmart. And it has mostly floral designs in it. It was on clearance at Walmart, and so I don't know if it's still available or not. But here are some of the patterns it has. Some big polka dots. I'm not sure I'd use that one, and some other things. But most of it is floral. And this is the page that I used. I cut it across the bottom, and so that I have the design going sideways. But it could be cut the other way. See, I cut it there. It could be cut the other way with the stripe going up through the middle if you chose to do that. This is the paper I chose, and I'm using the grid on the inside for the writing space, and I marked it where I want to cut it off. And that leaves just a little bit of the grid showing below the fancy side. And I'm going to trim that off with my paper trimmer. Um, just line it up against the side there and trim it. Now I'm folding the top down, and I decided I wanted to fold it right at where the stripes come up against the line there, where the stripes are against that lace design. I'm going to fold it right along there. So I'm folding that just by folding it. You could use your scoring board if you wanted to do that to make it easy to get the fold right, but you don't have to. So there we have it folded, and give it a good crease at the top. Kind of looks like a awning on a candy shop. I'm going to round the corners here, and I'm going to speed that up so we get through that quickly. I just like to use the corner rounder to give the corners a nice finished edge. Now it's basically finished. It just needs to be put in a book. This is not a journal. This is just a book I had handy, but I'm going to show you how it looks on a page. And it just can be glued down as a pocket, a top-loading pocket, or it can be a tuck spot if you want to do it that way. It flips up for the writing space underneath, and it needs a closure because it's kind of flopping up. This is the closure I made. It's just a circle I cut from 2 pieces of medicine packaging, and I cut them with a die cut. And I glued this design on there. It's a piece of washi tape, and I used this die to cut the circle out. And then I glued the 2 pieces of cardboard together, and that's the washi tape I used there. I glued a piece of this washi tape to the cardboard before I cut it out with the die so that I could place the die where I wanted to get the rose exactly on the center of the circle. So I'm placing it where I want it in the center at the bottom, and I'll have it where the top part is not glued down and the flap can slide into that slit at the top that's not glued. And I'm using this tacky glue, Turbo Tacky Glue by Aleene's, to glue it down. I had also inked the edges of the circle so that it wouldn't have white showing on the edge. And I'm just adding the glue at the bottom, the part that will glue to the piece, and just placing it in the center of the page here. And I lined it up with my grid to make sure I had it centered. It's 5 inches across, so I was putting the circle at 2.5 inches. And making sure I had the unglued side in the right position also. I'm checking with my ruler to make sure it was in the right position, and it's just slightly off. So the glue hasn't dried that quickly, so I'm able to adjust it and get it just in the right place. And now that it's in the right place, I can slide the cover into the tab to hold it in place and give it one last fold with the bone folder to make it have a nice crisp fold. And that is the finished project. Now the next idea, I'm going to use this scrapbooking paper, which is from a 12 by 12 pack from Walmart, and I got it on clearance also. It was $5.37, looks like. It is one-sided, and I used this polka dotted design that has this floral image on the side here, and I decided to use the strip on the side. This project is a floating pocket which has the fold over flap, but the back side of it was so pretty with the flowers on it. Part of the flowers are back there, that I wanted to keep it. So I decided to make it a pocket that it could be clipped into a journal, or it could be attached in some other way, stuck in a pocket or something like that. And I just creased the top of it there so it'd have a nice crisp crease, and I'm cutting it across there. So there's a little border of white at the bottom. And I'm just using my paper trimmer again to trim that off. And I'm making sure I put it up against the side there, because if it's crooked, I'll have a crooked edge on it. So that will be where I cut that off there. So that's the back of the piece, and it shows the flowers on the back that I thought was pretty. And I'm going to round the corners on this, so I will speed that up. This corner was a little bit uneven, so I decided to repunch it. There's a little bit of a white border at the bottom, and that's what I wanted, because I'm going to add an index card on the inside to make a pocket. This punch is one that I recently got with a scoring board, and it is to make envelopes with. So it has a rounded corner on one side, and on the other side it has a notch to make your corners in the envelope. It shows on the back of it the sizes and things, and has a space for some embossing actually there. But this notch is what I'm going to use to cut my notch in the index card for the pocket. And I punched one to begin with, and it was in the center, but I decided I'd rather have it to one side to kind of offset the flowers on the front. So I'm going to punch it to the left side with this now. And after I got the notch cut, I checked to see how it fits in the pocket, and I realized it needs to have the corners rounded to match the outside edge. And I'm fitting it in. And I also realized that I wanted to put some ground espresso on it to match the cover a little better, and just make a little distinction there of the edge of the pocket. So that's what I'm doing here, is using ground espresso, as I said, and just going around the edge. I speeded this up too, so to go a little faster, but I'm going across the bottom. And I decided that I need to go on the outside edges also, the sides. So I'm doing that also. Now I'm going to use Aleene's Turbo Tacky Glue again to glue the pocket in. And I'm just going around the edge. So I'm going to speed this up as well. I mean, we've all seen gluing before, so make that a little faster. I decided to use my makeup spreader to spread the glue out a little bit so it wouldn't bleed out the edges of the page. Now I'm just placing it down on the paper and getting it lined up with the edges. Now that I have the pocket glued in, I'm ready to look at the front and decide where I'm going to put the closure. What I did is I cut a flower that I had, this little die that I got in a set that has an embossing folder, and this die and a couple of others. But I punched 3 of them out of some cardstock, just some medium weight cardstock that I have. And I glued 2 of them together already. There's the cardstock. It's medium weight, as I said, not real thick. So that's why I did 3 layers and glued them together. I glued 2 of them together, and I'm going to glue the third one together here. And I noticed that this flower has little holes in the center. 2 of them are kind of flat on the side. Once I noticed that those 2 holes were different from the other ones, it made it easier to line those up as I was putting the layers together, because all those little petals look a whole lot alike, but those 2 holes, when I lined them up, it made it much easier to do. And here I'm just finishing up gluing those 2 pieces, and you'll see how it goes together so easily with lining up those little holes that match precisely when the petals are not so easily matched up. Now that I have it glued together, I just need to decide which way I want the flower to be positioned on the card. It's probably just a matter of preference on which way you want it positioned there and exactly how far left or right too. I'm going to glue the bottom half of the flower so that I can tuck the top flap into that like I did on the previous piece. Now I'm just going to hold it down for a few seconds until it sticks, and then I'm going to touch up one of the corners. It's the rounded corner is not quite to my liking. And now we have two finished pieces. The one I just completed is the one that has the pocket on the inside and the design on the back. And it could be, I need to touch that up a little bit right there. It could be put in a pocket or sewed into a journal or clipped onto a page. And it has the pocket. You can put whatever you like in there, a note or a card or whatever, a scripture card. Or this is a photograph. It's a Tim Holtz snapshot picture that I recently got. And there's lots of writing space inside. You can even write on the back of the photograph or above on the flap or down below even on the pocket. Other options, instead of the little flower, you could put a button on there or a circle cut out of cardboard or just whatever you wanted to do to hold that flap in place. And the first one we did is also has plenty of writing space inside. And the outside is so pretty you might want to just clip it to a page or put it in a pocket. So there we have it, two new ideas for a pocket with writing space inside. I hope you enjoyed these hot tips for today and will come back and join me again sometime soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.